excited to be back here with you guys today. How's everybody doing? Are y'all doing great? It has been a crazy couple of weeks. I understand very much, and I missed you guys desperately, but I'm so grateful to be back here with you guys again. And so just a couple of things to help you get acclimated to what we're about to do. So many of us have shifted the way that we are being taught. We are used to being face-to-face in the classroom, which I deeply miss, and that is actually where I prefer to be, is one-on-one in that classroom with you guys versus right here on this screen. And so bear with me, we're all getting to learn how to navigate our way through this this season. And so everybody is shifting to online classes and such, and so I'm trying to ease the burden a little bit for parents who might have multiple age groups. So we're going to combine our 1st through 4th grade Bible classes. So if you have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th grader, or you are the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd or 4th grader, then we are going to combine the curriculum so that they match. And what you're doing is compatible with one another, and to just ease the burden of schooling at home, because we know that we want to take that pressure off of you parents. And kids, we want you to continue to feel connected the best way we can virtually. Especially with this age group, I didn't feel the best opportunity would be to Zoom with them. And so for me, I'm gonna go ahead and record little videos like this every week just to prepare you for the lesson. And then we're gonna have video clips along with Google Docs, and we're gonna try to keep that as much online. So parents, if you have a kid who isn't quite there yet on writing, that's okay. If you don't mind, write it out for them. Type out their answers for them. And so, or if you wanna video record their answers and you wanna send that back to me, I'd be happy to receive those answers as well. You can email those answers to me in a video. You can text them to me in a video. My number is 713-503-4201. And I want to know how you guys are doing, and I'm happy to receive anything from you and questions that you might have going forward. So today, we're going to move into what we're going to be talking about today. And I thought that this topic was perfect for the times that we're in. And our topic today is about bravery. Yeah, bravery. So let me ask you a question. What is the scariest thing that you have ever experienced? I'll start with my story. For me, it was when I was 6 years old. I had been taking swim lessons, and I was feeling super courageous one day, so brave, that I actually thought that I could swim from the shore to the island. Little did I know how far that distance really was, and I found myself struggling about halfway through. And if it weren't for the man on the shore, and he had a distinct hat on, I'll never forget it to this day. It was a colorful hat, and you might have seen one of these before. It was a colorful hat. It had kind of rainbow colors on it and a propeller on top. And I remember him as the rainbow hat man, the umbrella hat man. And he came to my rescue that day. And man, that story could have gone very differently had he not seen me struggle. And to this day, I truly believe that he was an angel, just by the distinct hat that he was wearing. And I never knew who the man was. What about you? What is something that you're scared of? Really? Wow. If you're with a parent or a sibling right now, turn to them and share that with them. Wow, those are amazing answers. Well, I know that as we talk about bravery today, I want you to understand that there's a character in the Bible that we're going to talk about, and his name is Peter. Oh, you've heard of him. That's fantastic. Well, Peter was a friend of Jesus's, and he was on a boat in the middle of a lake when all of a sudden a major storm out of nowhere blew in. Can you imagine how Peter might have felt in that moment? Yeah, absolutely. Peter was scared. Oh, if you have your Bible, would you go ahead and take a moment and grab that? I'm going to give you a second just to do that. I'm going to get my Bible right here, and I'm reading from Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 through 33. It's about the story of Jesus walking on water. Yeah, that's right. Have you ever tried to walk on water? How did that work out for you? Well, after we get done with this section, you're going to go and you're going to watch a little video clip of what that might have looked like. But before we do that, I want to read this with you. So in verse 22, are you there with me yet? Okay, great. Verse 22, it says, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him on the other side, while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed the crowd, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. Yes, he was walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking, they were terrified. Did you hear that? They were terrified. Why do you think that was? What do you think it was that made them feel afraid? Those are great answers. You're going to have some time to talk about that a little bit later. But we're going to continue to read on. They actually thought it was a ghost, and they cried out in fear. That means they didn't know it was Jesus. And since they had never seen anybody walk on water before, you can imagine what that must have felt like in that moment. In verse 27, but Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." Verse 28, "Lord, if it is you," Peter asked, "tell me to come to you on the water." In my mind, when I hear that, I imagine that Peter is being very bold in that moment, saying, hey, if it's you, Jesus, then I too can join you on water. He knew it was impossible without Jesus, so he asked for the impossible. What do you do when you're afraid? Do you give up? No. We don't want you to give up. Instead, do as Peter did. Be bold and be courageous. Make that ask, just as Peter did. He said, Lord, if that is you, I want to join you on the water. And in true Jesus fashion, he replied, come. Then Peter got down out of the boat and he walked on water and he came toward Jesus. That's the end. No, not quite. But I'm going to leave you hanging there for just a moment. I want to focus back on the verse 27. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." That is the verse that I want us to remember this week. So go ahead, hop on over to the next video, and you're going to find out, did Peter stay courageous? Or did he take his eyes off Jesus? Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I look forward to next week when we get to meet together. When you get done watching your video clip, you're going to go back in and you have some options, which is the opportunity to click on the Google Doc on Bravery. And there's some questions there, including the memory verse for this week. You'll be able to submit your answers right there, so you don't have to worry about taking pictures or anything like that. But as I said earlier, if you have a writer, great, have them type in their answers. But if you have a child who's not quite ready to do that, parents, you have a couple options. Type it in for them. Let them dictate the answers to you and you type it for them. Or feel free to video response your answers back to me and share those with me. Enjoy the rest of this story. And remember, be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you at all times. I miss you, friends. I'll see you soon.